In this final module, I'm going to show you how to chop up vocals creatively using some of my favourite techniques. So let's, in this module, chop up the vocals creatively. I'll show you two techniques just in two doors that I use, obviously Logic and the case being Ableton, where you can actually take ad-libs or any of the main vocals, chop them up into samplers and just get really creative with it. So I've got Luke's ad-libs. I've joined them, all these ad-libs together, and a really quick way of cutting them up in Ableton. Put your own warp markers in. So I could actually put my own warp markers at each of Luke's phrases and then put the warp markers where they're cut into the sampler across the keyboard. But another easy way and quite random way of doing things that can yield good results is just slicing your MIDI track. So you can either choose warp markers, which is the manual markers I put in, or you could choose transient markers. So what that's telling me is slicing the current region will result in 659 slices. So we're probably better going for warp markers. So I'm just going to come out of there, and I'll not do them all. Well, I'll just take a selection. So I'm going to go into the actual sample. Let's just zoom in there. And you can see all the transient markers. They're all where Luke's actually singing or saying something. So I'm just putting my own in here. If I'd have done the actual transient markers, it's going to chop every single bit, which can sometimes give good results, but I just think there's too many samples to play with there. So on this occasion, I'm just going to manually put some markers in. I should do it. So now if I right click and slice a new MIDI track, I'm going to select the warp markers option, and it's telling me I've got 16 slices. So I press OK. And what Ableton's done there is it's left the vocals as is, but down here it's created a sample sliced pack of all these markers, and it's given me a MIDI file as well. So if I play that, it'll be exactly the same as Luke's delivery on his ad-libs here.
Do you remember our house, my house, your house?
Right, cool. So I'm going to get rid of that because I don't need it. And as I'm pressing the keyboard here, so let's just put some ping pong delay on, so it's just not dry, just for the purposes of this tutorial. So I'm going to play the track and have a little jam, and I'll just show you, you know, creatively what you can come up with. If I can get something going. So that's just me playing keyboard. So let's see if I can overdub that.
Oh, this is our house.
So that's taken me all of a minute and a half just to create something really cool. So I'm just going to join that together. And then I'm going to freeze that. I don't have to, but I'm just showing you how you can take the process even further. So I can freeze the track, and I'm going to flatten that part into an audio part itself. So now I've got an audio part. I'm just going to zoom in there. So now, because I've got an audio part, I can do things like reverse. You know, I could pitch certain elements down. I mean, I can do that. I could have done this in the sampler as well, but I find that once you bounce them to audio in Ableton and any other DAW, you've got a little bit more power, really. Flexibility, I should say. This might sound bonkers, but I'm just showing you what you can do. Alright, let's pitch that down, try doing that. So straight away you can see, just by chopping up the vocals, I'm getting a totally different vibe. So then I could complement these sections with Luke's straight up conventional verse chorus bridges. And it just gives a totally different dimension to a track. Let's have a look at that in Logic, similar thing. As you can see, I've got the ad-libs in the Logic session now. Show you a similar process. So I'm going to chop this up really easy, and we can get some creative vocal samplings going. So all I need to do is go to strip silence. You can choose it from the menu, but I've got it on a shortcut here. And in Logic, you've got a threshold, pre-attack time, and by juggling with these settings, you can actually chop the vocal itself up automatically. Well, it'll split it, actually. It's the same file, but it'll just keep it split. So let's go for that. And then I can select all the parts. I've got a shortcut which can convert to sampler. Same again, you can drag this down from one of the functions. So it's that, convert regions to new sampler track. So it's saying I'm going to select these regions, not the transients markers. So it's going to create an EX24 instrument, which is basically the sampler. It's going to start on C note, which you can select, and G8. I think by default it selects on a really low note, so I would change that to C0. And it's saying 49 zones, 49 selected regions, and away we go. Same again as we did in live. We've chopped the vocal up. It's give us a sample selection now in the sampler itself. So if I go to edit, you can see they're all in there. All them little chops of Luke's vocal ad-libs. So I don't need the MIDI. I'm just going to get rid of that. Put it on record. Again, I can make really quick a nice vocal chop up. So I'm just basically playing that on the keyboard. So let me just get something in so I can show you. Same again. I can overdub that. And then just join these two together. So as you can see, it's just a really creative way of messing with your vocals, your ad-libs, even your choruses, your leads. I'm going to bounce that in place now. I just like to go to audio once I've got the exact thing that I want. And then I can put any effects I want on there, move it about in the arrangement. It just adds a different flavour, totally unexpected flavour of the original song. And it's the same as the ad-libs that I was saying when, you know, I get excited about when vocalists do ad-libs. These are some of the best bits to chop up for vocals. So I hope that's shown you a nice creative way. And you could do chopping your vocals up. You could do this in any DAW. You know, there's ways to do it in Beatwig and Pro Tools, Cakewalk, whatever you're using. So I really hope you've enjoyed this Producer Tech tutorial on vocal recording and processing. And I hope that the many tips I've included in the module help and inspire you going forward. But most importantly, have fun making music and don't be afraid to be creative.